Humans of the cardboard, we are back with the final TRICKSTAR card slash MARINCESS card from the new support. Very, very interesting to see. As you can see, this is a water monster, but it looks like a TRICKSTAR, but also still kind of looks like a MARINCESS monster. You'll see when we get into reading it. Sorry I missed this one. I left for work, and literally as I got to work, I must have missed this by just like a few minutes when I left for work. In not seeing that it had gotten revealed. So happy to get it out here though, because you guys know I've been kind of hype on seeing what the last TRICKSTAR card would be. I was kind of hoping it'd be some kind of fusion boss monster, but looks like it's confirmed to be a main deck monster. But I think this monster is actually still pretty decent. So let's take a look. This is TRICKSTAR Aqua Angel, of course. It's a level 4 water fairy. 0 attack, 0 defense. This card is always treated as a MARINCESS card, so it is also quite searchable for them. It's not a, it is not a cyber, so it can't be searched off of Signet Mining, which kind of hurts, but the deck has other ways to kind of like make use of this card, so it's not that bad. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per duel. Always interesting to see there. Also very scary to see that, because that usually means some pretty powerful effects here. First effect, if you control a TRICKSTAR or MARINCESS monster, you can special summon this card from your hand or grave. Not totally sure why this one had to be a once per duel effect. I mean, this would just be like a nice recursive, like extender turn after turn if they didn't like make this once per duel and only made this effect once per turn. But I guess I mean, there's a world where maybe we find like a more concrete, you know what I mean, translation, and the first effect is in fact a once per turn instead of a once per duel, but we'll have to see as we go forward. But that's a pretty good extension effect regardless, right? I think for TRICKSTARs, I think the first thing it makes me think of is potentially opening up the possibilities for rank 4 plays in TRICKSTARs, which we haven't really had in TRICKSTARs to this point. All of the like playable TRICKSTARs are like not the same level. Candine is a 4, Corabane's a 5, Lycoris is a 3, and Lilybell was a 2. So to this point, we always had different levels. We weren't really able to do any Exceed plays, but we do finally, I mean, even just as simply as going Candina grab Light Stage, Light Stage grab this, summon this out. It's 2 level 4s with a back row, you know, removal, extra burn, whatever. But it does make a rank 4 now easier than it ever did before. So that's something there, but also just an extra extender, sure. Second effect, link monsters that point to this card cannot be destroyed by battle. That's pretty irrelevant, to be honest. I can't imagine too many scenarios where you're just summoning this and actually trying, to end on it. It's also 0 attack and defense, so even if the monster pointing to this can't be destroyed by battle, this can be destroyed by battle, like, so easily, so it's not like the protection really matters. Maybe it helps you to do, like, attacks and punish your opponent. Maybe with the link 1, but I can't remember if the link 1 says like if a monster is destroyed by battle or if it just says monsters battle. Potentially being able to take advantage of Colchica's burn effect, but I'm not sure on that. And the third effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, this is generic by the way, generic link material, you can look at your opponent's hand and all their set cards. That would be, I guess, the reason why this is once per duel, but even to be fair, this third effect is an effect when I look at it, I go, this effect is not good past turn 1. Really, I mean, like, it's really not doing that much for you. Maybe it's showing you one set card, maybe 1 or 2 cards in hand, but a lot of times when you play Yu-Gi-Oh!, you run into a point where you're like, okay, you're ending with 3 in hand, but 2 of them were recursive pieces they added back, so you know what those are. And the last card's maybe like a hand trap. You put them on a hand trap. Maybe they set one. You're like, okay, that's probably an imperm. I guess, but like that's not that impactful. The main impactful thing is being able to go through this somewhat earlier in a turn and confirm that your opponent is on Nib, see Nib early, and be able to try and play around it from there. And then go, move on from there, like knowing that information. That's what's really strong because, one, I don't think TRICKSTAR has great ways to play around Nibiru, and I know MARINCESS doesn't have the best ways to play around Nibiru, and this card helps in 2 different ways for MARINCESS. So the first thing is that it's a level 4 water extender. That's pretty easy for them. Now, the question is how easy can they access it? They can technically just play Light Stage if they want to search this, if they want. And then summon it, and it's a level 4 extender that then can either just go straight into a Bahamut totally awesome line, or it's still an accessible tool off of what's her face, the main normal summon, Blue Tang. So normal Blue Tang, send this from deck, then this can just summon it back immediately. So you have 2 level 4 waters at that point. Now that does take your normal summon, and I don't know how well the deck can like actually do its own combos past that point if that takes your normal, but that is something to note. Like, that's something I'm always keeping an eye out for MARINCESS, is how good of extra like level 4 spammable water bodies can we get, because if the deck can much more consistently make Bahamut Toad lines, 1, it makes their end board stronger, and 2, it helps them play through Nibiru much more consistently. So we'll see on that, but even the third effect's not bad either, because the deck has stuff like Coral Anemone to like, you know, get a card like this back on field, or, you know, just get another level 4 water back on field. So if you link this off early, super early, you can already get a look at your opponent's hand to either see if they have Nib or not, or exactly just what hand traps, what engine cards, whatever. And then some decks, you know, if you play Kragan, if you play the Bahamut Toad stuff, or if you see their hand, you're like, you know what, I don't think they beat just the standard MARINCESS setup. I think it's nice to be able to look and then have potential like pivoting, you know, directions you can go in to, you know, tailor your end board specifically to what you see in their hand. And that bodes technically for MARINCESS and TRICKSTAR. I don't know exactly if they have the full potential of like, we can make anything we want. And like, you know what I mean? Like the flexibility there and like the overall output to make whatever they want, but that is still valuable nonetheless. As far as TRICKSTARs go, I think specifically with Reincarnation, it's pretty strong. Being able to look at their hand and be like, their hand's kind of weak. I don't even know if I want to Reincarnation them, because maybe they have, like, looking at their hand, they're like, clearly they have to fire this Prosperity immediately. They have to fire this maybe engine, once per turn engine card immediately, or maybe you play Branded and they just have a Branded Fusion hand. So you're like, you know what? Let's get rid of those. Let's force them to find another Branded Fusion, or like their hand's really good, their hand's not, whatever, and allows you to more structure your Reincarnations a little more effectively with that hand knowledge. So there's a lot of layers to this. There always is to stuff like Reincarnation, and as far as how you time it versus certain matchups, but being able to see really helps, you know, you decide on some of those factors, because you're not making educated guesses anymore on certain matchups. You're just going off of what you see, which can be a little more concrete, obviously. So really cool nonetheless. I think it's a good card for both decks. I think it's a mandatory, at least one of. It is accessible on both decks via the engine. So like, regardless, I'm cool with that. Again, I look on this card and I'm like, why did they have to make it once per duel? Because like I said, that look at the opponent's hand effect, you only really care about it once, probably. Like, how many duels do you think it's literally winning you by using it after turn 1? I don't know. And the first effect is like just a nice little extension effect. It feels kind of weird they made it like a once per duel effect, because it makes you feel like you don't want to play more than one copy of it, but it is a good one-off anyway, so we'll take it. But there you go. All in all, decent card, not bad at all. I think it's probably an absolute staple in both decks, no matter what. And we'll just have to see. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on this card. Let me know your thoughts down below. I guess keep in mind as well, like, I know some people have mentioned there are some missing cards from TRICKSTAR still that could potentially come in Animation Chronicle. We've seen Konami kind of drop stuff kind of similar timelines, you know what I mean? Like, this set comes out and then a month later for them, Animation Chronicle, well, I guess less than a month later, Animation Chronicle comes out, boom, 1 or 2 more TRICKSTAR cards, maybe there's a Fusion Boss Monster in there, I don't know. We'll have to keep that in mind, though, as like something, you know, kind of long shot potential-wise, but still something nice to keep in mind. But yeah, cool card. Let me know your thoughts down below on it. Where do you land on this? How much does it help TRICKSTARs or MARINCESS, whichever one you're more interested in talking about or have more insight in? I don't care. I'd love to hear your insights on either of those. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching, as always, guys. We hopefully will get the last Galaxy Eyes card maybe next week at some point. I doubt they'd do it this week, too. They could, though. They could drop it tomorrow or Friday. Who knows? But I'll just keep you posted on anything news-wise that gets plopped anytime soon. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel for more. Sorry I rambled so much about one single card, but I think this card has a lot of different applications and for both 2 different decks, so I felt like it kind of deserved a little bit more of a runtime there. But I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.